It's on your mind. Anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to do open lines, open discussion. That is the number. We can talk about Speaker's Corner. There's been a few topics raised there recently, and also the interviews that I've been conducting with people from Speaker's Corner outside the park. So it's the first one. Whatever anyone wants to talk about, I'm not fussed really. I wanted to talk about the abortion, maybe in 15 minutes. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Colin. If you can, go for it. If not, not a problem. Thank you very much. I like your channel too. You're a breath of fresh air. Yeah, so please, share the link. We'll see if we get any callers. It's the first one. Topics I had in mind were the Jeremy Kyle show, and if you're not familiar with what happened, a guest on the Jeremy Kyle show was ridiculed, made to feel like an idiot on national television, and very tragically took his own life shortly afterwards. So the Jeremy Kyle show is finished. It is no more. And I feel a little bit guilty for watching it. If it was the sort of entertainment that led someone to take their life. And we often, people like myself who bang on about freedom of speech, we can get a little bit dragged into the idea that, oh, stop being such a snowflake. What words wouldn't hurt you? I have the right to say anything. I have the right to express myself. But if those words lead to someone doing something terrible like that, then you have to be accountable for those words. And it comes back to bullying and online bullying. That's another topic that has come up recently. You never know what your words could do to someone else. We've said it before, the pen is mightier than the sword. If you defame someone's character, imagine what that could do to them. If you troll somebody online, if you hound people online, if you say something about their race or their religion, maybe you compare them to someone or something, we have to tread very carefully. We have to think before we open our mouths or post something online. And when you post something online, it's there forever. Your footprint is left there forever. And how many employers have sacked someone because of something that happened 10 years ago? We have to be very careful. And in doing what I'm doing and posting these videos, I might say something that could be taken out of context and could be used against me. So we do have to be careful. But coming back to Jeremy Kyle, I think just as we look back on, well done. I've sent a link. Thank you very much, Colin. Just as we look back, and I always say this about society, I think society and humanity progresses, and we gradually get better and better and better. We look back at the Romans and say, oh, they were terrible. They used to throw Christians to the lions and watch them fight and get killed. And we look at that as being barbaric. And then, only 100 years ago, we were going to freak shows and laughing at the Elephant Man. Good evening, Julian. Respect. Sanir, how you doing? Welcome to the first live show. There's the number. You want to get involved? It will be free of charge if you call me on WhatsApp. So yeah, we look and today boxing. Right? Do you think the gladiators of the first century are the equivalent of boxing today? Do you think we're going to look back on boxing? Thank you for posting this link. Nice one. Do you think we will look back on boxing and mixed martial arts in 100 years and say, well, that was barbaric? How could they pay to watch two athletes fight like that in such a primitive way? I hope not, because I think boxing and mixed martial arts are noble arts and to be commended. Triple 33X is saying all boxers are black. Not true. Not all boxers are black, and not all black people are boxers. Not sure what point Triple T is making there, but feel free to give me a call. 99% are. Not true. Not true. And would it matter if they were? But we're missing the point, and we're going to get bogged down into racism, which is the only thing that chap likes to talk about. 85%. It doesn't matter. Boxing, the point we're making is, will we look back on boxing as some kind of barbaric sport that should have been banned? There are people that are calling to ban it. And hypocritically, there are even boxers and boxing promoters. I'm thinking of Bob Arum, for example, who look at mixed martial arts in the way that non-boxing people look at boxing and say, oh, it's human cockfighting, it's primitive, there's no honour in it, there's no rules. It's just, there are, you just don't understand them. And to the layman, a mixed martial arts fight looks like a chaotic, lawless, ruleless punch-up. To the connoisseur, there's lots of various grappling, striking and wrestling skills on display there. Anyway, I think we're taking a call. Hello, caller on line 1, welcome. Who's there?
Can we talk for a minute?
Can we talk for a minute? Caller, you'll have to turn your, well, it's not a radio, whatever device you're listening on, turn it down, otherwise we're going to hear you in the background. Otherwise you're live. Go for it.
مرحبا.
مرحبتين. انت من وين؟ برني من فين؟
انت لازم تعرف انا من فين.
ما بعرف انت من وين؟ ممكن من صوتك مثل اللهجة يمني. بس لازم أحكي بالإنجليزي عشان most of our viewers and listeners speak English, so we're going to switch now to English. Although I think Colin, who's watching, understands Arabic, but we're going to have to conduct the conversation in English. But what can we talk about?
Well, I want to say congratulations, as you are one of my students, and I can see you live.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you, teacher.
So you've recognized the teacher, yes?
Thank you, teacher. This is my teacher. I haven't done my homework. I think she's phoning up to tell me to do my homework. Thank you very much. Do you want to advertise your channel?
Yes, why not?
Okay.
So my channel called Dardasha.
Yeah. Someone's asked a question. Many Cinder, Lessons for Life. Are you an Arab? No, I am not. On the line, we have an Arab, and I strongly recommend everybody watching this logs onto, or if you go to the linked channels on my channel, Dardasha is another excellent channel that you should all subscribe to. You can learn Arabic, and you can go on day trips to places like Henley or Marlow. What else can? Well,
I really appreciate it.
Dadasha,
I want
go
you
on.
to tell us
Yeah.
what's your interest in Arabic language? Why did you learn
The
Arabic?
Arabic language is an amazing language to learn, and I was first exposed to it when I was in school. I had friends that spoke Arabic, and they taught me a few swear words and a few phrases, and I gradually picked up more and more. And then I went to the Middle East and learned a little bit more. So it's a project that I've never completed, but it's a continual study, and we should never stop learning languages. I'm far from fluent, but even in English, you could learn new words every day, and language evolves. So it's good to learn. It's good to learn a language, and I recommend Arabic, and I recommend Dardasha as a channel for doing so.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it people start learning swearing words when they start learning a language?
Yeah, why is it? It's always the way. And when I've taught in schools, I'll often ask the question, who here can speak another language? And they'll always say, I can say F you in Polish. I can swear in French. Swear words are fun. So I think it's because it's appealing, isn't it? It's like forbidden fruit. Why did...
To you guys, but not for me.
You don't like to learn swearing?
I don't teach swearing.
You don't. You should do a lesson on swearing. Because what if someone gets sworn at? They need to know. It's part of language.
Well, to be honest, I think in Arabic language as well, like the swearing isn't as bad as it is in English language.
It's not as bad, or
as in like the common swearing words would be something like ya kelb, ya hmar, like
dog, donkey. Okay.
Donkey, which will never be used in English.
Yeah, but people say bitch for swearing, and that's a dog.
Common swearing words in the Arab region. You wouldn't hear it often as how we hear it here in England.
So you think Arabs don't swear as much, and when they do, it's not as bad?
I think so.
Well,
my experience. Or maybe I was not around a lot of
people that swear.
Yeah.
Well, look.
We don't swear in our household. So
okay.
If we do, it would be just a dog or a donkey.
A dog or a donkey. Okay.
Yeah. But since it's Ramadan, I wouldn't think.
Oh, you can't swear during Ramadan. You can't swear and you can't lie during Ramadan. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any questions for me?
What's the worst swear? No, forget about swearing. I wish you and your channel a blessed Ramadan, and what's your message to the viewers of the channel? We have a lot of Muslim viewers. If you want to tell them any wishes for Ramadan or any charity that you're collecting for during Ramadan. I know it's a time to give. Which charities do you recommend people to give to?
Okay, which charity? That's a hard one, but I think Penny Appeal are collecting money, and I heard that they are quite genuine, and the charity does reach people.
Penny Appeal.
I personally collect it myself from friends and so on, but obviously it's hard for me to reach everybody. So, and a lot of people prefer charities. But my message would be that we just finished today, the 10th, it was the 10th day of fasting, the 10th day of Ramadan. So we've got hopefully another 20 days.
Hopefully, you're hoping it's more. Someone else is saying Human Relief Foundation is the best.
Okay, that's perfect. Great.
Okay, there's another good recommendation. Penny Appeal got caught using money for themselves. I don't know about that. We'll have to look into it. Someone is accusing Penny Appeal of using money for themselves. I don't know. But the bottom line is with charity, check them out. And if not, if you can give it direct to people who need.
I do mine myself.
Yeah.
But obviously, not everybody can, reach those poor people in poor countries and so on. So if anybody can trust a friend and can do so, that would be great.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
in general, you can do good and you can give charity wherever you are.
Charity starts at home, definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of people that sleep around, rough sleepers outside. We can always help them and share our food and whatever we can do. If anybody wants to do good, they can do it anywhere.
For sure. Thank you for calling. That was a good deed.
Sure.
We're a charity on this show. We need all the thank you. We need all the support we can get.
Keep practicing your Arabic.
Thank you. I will. Thank you. Masalama. Thank you, teacher. Thank you. That's Masalama. Yep, that's my teacher. Had a couple of comments there. Why not donate to the victims of grooming gangs? No problem. Call it. Or if whoever commented that, if you want to phone up and tell me why that's a worthy cause, go for it. Yeah, it's good that. The other comment was that you shouldn't be swearing whether it's Ramadan or not. I was joking. I was saying that people say you shouldn't swear in Ramadan, you shouldn't lie in Ramadan. You shouldn't do any of this at any time. But I guess Ramadan is a time for Muslims when they are particularly conscious of their actions. And very sadly, if ever there's a terrorist attack during Ramadan, sometimes people, I think, rather mistakenly say, "Oh, how could it be Muslims that would do that?" They wouldn't do that during Ramadan. Would a true believer of any religion kill innocent people? I think not. So it's just a time when people are more conscious of their actions and their deeds, which we should be conscious of all the time, all year round. But most religions, I think, have a time of year. Lent, for the Christians, for example, when you go into a very spiritual frame of mind. And even in Buddhism, it's advised that every individual should spend at least a portion of their life living a monastic lifestyle. Triple T is trying to call. You need to call the other number, Triple T. Hopefully he's got that message. Speaker's Corner is asking me, are you Muslim? No, I'm not. But hopefully we're going to speak to one now, Triple T, if he calls the number in the background and not the other number that he was trying to call. Maybe we'll get his views on things. Maybe not. Anyway, the other topic I was going to discuss was the abortion laws in Alabama. This man always talks about grooming gang. We give him the solution and he doesn't like it either. Okay, look, some people have a particular topic that they like to go for. Stone all pedos, end of story. Tell your British government to allow us to do it and make it a law. You see, I don't think... here's the question. What's the solution? He's saying that the solution is to stone people. I don't think that stoning people gets you anywhere. I think stoning people is barbaric and it belongs back in the Stone Age. That's not why they called it the Stone Age, but that's when it originated from. And the people that practiced it back then were exacting the most extreme form of punishment acceptable. There's no grooming gangs in Afghanistan, aren't there? I don't know if there are grooming gangs in Afghanistan or not. I've heard that they dress little boys up as little girls and get them to dance around. Taliban got rid of pedos and molesters. Manny Cinder is agreeing with me that stoning is barbaric. I think you're correct. It is. And we need to move beyond things like that. And the most extreme form of sentence that we have in our society is life imprisonment. And I think that is that's the greatest extreme that we should go to. Lol, if you jail groomers, you think that will stop the problem? If they go to jail, it's a holiday for them. All right. So you think we should kill people? Okay. That's just barbaric, my friend. And we should be better than murderers. And you don't stop murder happening by becoming a murderer yourself. And they get less years as well. Less years than what? You're saying that they're not getting enough. If they were Muslims, they wouldn't even touch a girl in the first place. Okay, as I said, if anyone practiced their religion properly, then there wouldn't be any of these problems. But, what is practicing your religion properly? Everyone interprets their religion differently. I think good people interpret their religion in a good way, in a kind way, in a loving way. I think hateful people interpret it in a hateful and aggressive way. Khan is asking what will happen to them in Sharia law. They can't even talk to women. Well, I don't know enough about Sharia law. I thought the word Sharia means law, and you're just saying law. Muslims have no morals in a woman's point of view. That's from Red Lioness. What do you mean, Red Lioness? Do you think, we shouldn't make statements about Muslims as a whole, because every Muslim is different. But perhaps you're noticing something about the religion, and you think, sorry, 33X, the phone lines are closed now because the battery has died. But we'll get the phone lines back up and running another time. For now, we just have to stick with the comments. We've got onto the topic of stoning, which I think belongs in the Stone Age. Majority of them anyway. Okay, Red Lioness, you're clawing it back now. You have a problem with the majority of the way Muslims treat women, view women. I don't know. I hope you've spoken to a lot of Muslim women. Dem gosh darn muzzies. Yep, that's a comment from a hillbilly over in Alabama, where they've just outlawed abortion under almost every scenario. And if you think that's backward, you should visit the north of Ireland. Lashing would be good. Would lashing be good? I think lashing would be bad. I think lashing is barbaric, and it belongs back in the Dark Ages or the Stone Ages, when they used to stone and lash people. The societies that have progressed the furthest, the modern world, the places where they've got technology. What's your opinion? I don't think we should lash people. I don't think we should use physical chastisement as a punishment. I don't think you should hit anyone unless they're attacking you, or it's for a sport, like a barbaric sport, like boxing. Think about it. If you get lashed 20 times in public, you think anyone would dare to do the same to you? Like I say, it's a barbaric practice. It belongs in the Dark Ages, but we're not that far from it. I get lashed all the time, no biggie. Thanks, 33X. I'm sure you do. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we were beating children in school. Now, we know that's wrong now, and we don't do it anymore. We've progressed, and schools are better now. They're not perfect. What's my solution? What's my solution to what? The problem of grooming gangs? Is that the question? What is my solution? I probably don't have a solution. There are no solutions in life. There is just progress. We gradually get better and better. All right. There will always be, very sadly, there will always be paedophiles and child abusers and murderers. But hopefully we can create a society where there are fewer and fewer and fewer of these problems, and we can work out what causes the problem, what goes through someone's mind to make them into a member of a grooming gang or a rapist. We have to understand the cause, the root of these problems. And many people that go on to abuse were abused themselves. Well, we should castrate them. Maybe. But is that your bloodlust? Do you just want to feel like you got revenge on someone? Or do you think that really, well, that's the problem, and we'll sort it if we castrate people? And they do medically castrate individuals as a so-called solution to this problem. And people, I heard people speculating about perhaps Michael Jackson was chemically castrated when he was young in order to preserve his voice. But hold on. Agreed, Red Lioness, chemical castrations are perfectly humane. Okay, yeah, maybe chemical castration is perfectly humane. But I'm speculating now. If Michael Jackson was chemically castrated, which they say is possible, and if he did go on to become a child abuser, which they say is possible, and I don't know one way or the other, what does that tell you about chemical castration and its prevention in terms of child abuse? Let's change the topic. I want to ask you something. LA 111, ask away. Let's move on to something more positive. Let's get a question from LA 111. Go for it. What do you think about this idea if the UK decided to split the country for Muslims, and Muslims have their own big area with their own laws, like a mini-state, and all Muslims go there? I think that is a terrible idea, and you've used the wrong there. It should be THEIR when talking about possession. 33X is in favour of your idea. No, I think that's a terrible idea, and I don't like partitioning countries, and that would never happen. Anything, I would go there next day. Would you really? I mean, this is not going to happen. I think this is dangerous talk to even suggest partitioning a country. And I can't think of a place where partition worked. I think it was a disaster in the Indian subcontinent. I think it was a disaster in Ireland. And I think what's happening in Israel-Palestine and the failure of the so-called two-state solution, which is dead in the water, is another failed partition. So no, partition doesn't work. You don't need to have a country for Muslims and a country for non-Muslims. This is ridiculous. Thanks. If it was 85% white, probably would be banned by now. Are you ex-MI5? No, I'm not ex-MI5. Dardasha saying not a good idea. In my opinion, we should all try to live together peacefully all around the world and in the UK. Yeah, absolutely. And look, the world's getting smaller. Why is racism and bigger ideas on the rise? That's a question for me. Okay. Are bigotry and racism on the rise, or are you now just more aware of it? Same with paedophilia and child abuse. Is it more prevalent now, or are we just more aware of it? I think we're just living in a climate of fear, and I think perhaps people that were too shy to admit their opinions now feel more empowered to do so. Idiots like me have got YouTube channels, and we can mouth off and say whatever we want. Donald Trump got elected, and that made a lot of people feel like, yeah, we should build the wall. Yeah, we should have a Muslim ban. We should grab them by the whatever he says. We can only live in peace if the USA and UK and all the other clowns remove all their troops from every Muslim land. Right. Well, there is a problem with Western troops in Muslim lands. Then all the Muslims will go back. Why would the Muslims need to go back? And this is I don't like this concept of go back and you need to go back here and I need to go back there. We can't all go back to where we lived 400 years ago. Until then, we are staying here because where I am from, I can die any day. There are a bunch of American troops killing everyone. Whereabouts are you from? I'm guessing perhaps Iraq or Afghanistan. Well, look, there are many people that live in the West because they fled war in other countries. You're from Afghanistan. Okay. Well, I am totally against the invasion and occupation of Afghanistan. And if you want to go back to live there, I hope someday soon it's safe enough to do so. And we need to elect governments that will make it safe. If Jews went back to their home, wrong there again, 2,000 years ago, why can Muslims go back? Not sure what we're on about there. They are the fake Jews, Zionists. These are the comments coming in. I don't think we need to throw around the term fake Jews. Jewish people are Jewish people. They come in all shapes and sizes with a broad spectrum of political opinions. There are Zionists, there are extreme Zionists, there are people that are apolitical. We don't need to start calling people fake. I could start saying such and such are the fake Muslims. But that's the thing with religion. It's how you interpret it. It's very much a personal thing. I don't think there are true versions of religion. Jihadi John is saying hi. Hi there, Jihadi John. Are you Russian? Что ты делаешь? No, I'm not Russian. Separation is the only answer for peace. No, as I said before, I don't agree with that. I don't think separation works. I think integration works. Accommodation, assimilation, living together with shared values which are common across all cultures, which should be treat other people how you would want to be treated. That is the golden rule. And if we all apply it, that would be much better. I think I've lost that one. Does everyone understand Islam isn't a country to go back to? It's a religion practiced by many who might be also British born. Very good. Yes, Islam is not a country. You can't go back to Islam. You can only follow it. Colin is enjoying it. Thank you, Colin. Colin, the phone lines are closed for now, so we'll get you on the line next time, but we're just doing a casual chat in the comments. Talking about religion, talking about going back where you came from. We're here now. I think, how far do you want to go back? Islam is not a religion, it's an ideology. Okay, Red Lioness. Call it, you say potato, I say Islam. Religion, ideology, what's the difference? Religion is a personal thing. But this notion of going back where you came from, it's a dangerous one. And we brought up the topic of Zionism, and I do often ask Zionists if they believe that Jewish people have the right to go back to where they were 2,000 years ago. Wouldn't Palestinians have the right to go back to where they were 70 years ago? But where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? I think most countries will grant you citizenship if you were born in the country, had a parent born in the country, or a grandparent born in the country. 3 generations. I think that's a fair working definition for what entitles someone to citizenship of a country. Otherwise, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? Your granddad, your great-granddad, great-great-great-great-granddad. It's the same when it comes to playing for countries in football at international level. You can play where you're born, where your parents are born, or where your grandparents were born. But, imagine if the likes of George Bush and all the great vast numbers of European Americans that descend from English people, if they all returned back here, which is where their ancestors came from, and said, I'm back now, and I'm going to kick you out of your house because this is my divinely given right to live here, well, there'd be a few problems with that. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up soon. If there are any other topics, questions, give me one last go. Otherwise, we're going to call it a night. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's the first live show. P.S. I was just killing time on here. Peace, everyone. And no, I'm not a racist. Red Lioness, I don't think you're a racist. I hope no one thought you were. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We really appreciate it. And I've liked your comments previously. Someone is saying Islam is the solution. I don't like the word solution. It has a lot of very negative connotations. I was saying to William, but a few nights ago, I think when it comes to religion, we need to not implement our religion, but we can apply it. We can apply the good things from our religion and from our faith. Oh, whoops. You hear what's coming. You know what the music means. We're wrapping up the show. Islam is the cure. So say some of you. Islam is the cure. Yes, cure sounds better than solution. I Love Kittens says, lol, thank you for joining us. I Love Kittens. Say Allahu Akbar before you end. There's nothing wrong with calling God great. See you, cruel world. See you later, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the first Can We Talk live broadcast. We'll do it all again, same time. Do this again. We will call in and I'll get you, the first caller, online. You will be prioritised. Yeah, we'll do it all again, same time, same place. Until then, it's been a pleasure. We were here, and we're gone. Laters.